Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a new recording on Naxos of the Franck and Chausson Symphonies, featuring conductor Jean-Luc Tingaud and the Berlin Radio Symphony Orchestra. Well, how is it? Meh, it's okay. I mean, there's a problem. The Franck Symphony is like the graveyard of conductors, symphonically speaking. It seems to be a singularly tough piece to bring off. Now, Tingaud is a very, very good conductor. I mean, he's already done a marvelous Franck disc that had Le Chasseur Maudit and Sichet and, program music. But the symphony is another story entirely, isn't it? And for some reason, conductors seem to find it difficult either in two respects. First, either they monkey around with it and pull it to pieces and smush and schmooze and generally turn it into a chromatic, gelatinous glop fest. Or, they just sort of beat their way through it without much personality at all. Tingaud falls into the latter category. It's not that he doesn't know what he's doing. He does. He really does. And for three movements, it's a really good performance. I mean, the first movement is wonderfully cogent. The introduction, which you hear twice, whether you want to or not, is wonderfully paced. I mean, it really flows into the allegro. I was really kind of curious because his previous Franck disc and his French music generally is known for being quite light and peppy. But no, he wasn't doing light and peppy in this symphony, and I kind of wish he had. I really do. But the Franck Symphony, I mean, it's sort of Wagnerian, and it has this tendency to slow people down. I'm not quite sure why. And there are, wonderful performances, but, we'll get to that in a minute. But the first movement goes really well. It goes really well at conventional tempos, but it never congeals, which is the big problem with this symphony. And it doesn't have any kind of problems with pacing or movement. It's perfectly fine. The second movement virtually always plays itself. It's incredibly lovely, incredibly charming, and it's almost impossible to wreck, although Furtwängler manages to do it, but most people don't. The harp is beautifully balanced against the pizzicato strings at the opening. The English horn soloist from the Berlin Radio Symphony has a very, very beautiful, creamy tone. It's not at all nasal, and it's fine. It's charming. No, it's the finale where the train wreck happens. It's not exactly a train wreck. It's more like a derailment. It's not cataclysmic. It's just limps. And I'm not quite sure why. It seems maybe it was done on a different day. I don't know. But from the very opening, the opening is chicka, 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 jump, 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 like that. You don't hear chicka, chicka, chicka. You just hear. There's a lack of rhythm right from the opening. It's not that it's too fast or too slow. It just doesn't have that sense of sharpness, the crispness that you want to hear in this piece. And, the finale is a tough movement to bring off. It's very sectional because all of the other, tunes from all the other movements come back and multiple times. And the music builds up to a climax, then it fades away, then it builds up to a climax, then it fades away, then it builds up to a climax, then it fades away. And so, you really have to avoid making it sound like a patchwork. And that's where Tingaud misses out. It just sounds patchy and disconnected. And the coda, the coda builds up marvelously. This brilliant, exciting coda, first with the return to the first movement, da, 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 the harp's going, it's beautiful. And he kind of skates through it. It doesn't have any mystery. And then the final buildup is very unsatisfying compared to the way others do it. And I'm thinking, for example, of the classic Monteux performance, Charles Munch, Paul Paret, the Franckians. And if you want to do one of the stretchy pull-aparty performances, you always have like Stokowski and Bernstein and people like that. But I just feel that he wasn't really sympathetic to where the symphony was going. And now the Chausson Symphony is the son of Franck, I mean, it's very, very similar in structure, not really actually in the way that the music evolves emotionally. It's a little bit different. It has a motto theme that sounds a lot like the finale of Dvorak's New World Symphony. They were written about the same time. Actually, the Chausson came first. But the performance is better than the Franck, I think. It is, first of all, because there are fewer performances of the Chausson to compare it to. Number one, let's face it. Number two, the finale is not quite as patchy in construction as it is in Franck. I mean, Chausson has a little bit more fluency. And I don't mean to denigrate the Franck. The finale can work marvelously, but it has to work. I mean, you have to have a conductor who knows how to work it. The Chausson finale, on the other hand, tends to go, it goes a little bit easier. It's longer, actually, than the Franck's finale by a couple of minutes, but it has a trajectory from that sort of minor opening, that stuff, to the ending, which I think makes it easier to convey. And Tingaud has no problem with it, and the playing is very good, and the sonics are very good. So I'm happy to have this disc for the Chausson. And the Franck isn't bad. It's just average, where I really expected him to put his stamp on the music and do something that would be sort of interesting and new, and maybe a little bit less conventional than we normally hear in the Franck Symphony. He doesn't do that. And I think that if you're going to be conventional, you have to be great conventional, because there are many great conventional performances. And so I'm a little bit disappointed, a little bit. The disc is a keeper for me, but it could have been better. It just could have been better. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.